Soccer, like life, is riddled with mistakes, some of which have minor consequences, while others are serious. What do you think are the most important mistakes in soccer? We have prepared a list full of them, so share your opinion in the comments. Do you agree with our choice? Welcome to Total Sport, the channel where you will be able to see in the same video everything from how a center forward misses 3 penalties in the same game to how a goalkeeper gives away a Euro Cup. So let's get started. The vampire moment of Luis Suarez. Luis Suarez's vampire moment went viral, and it's easy to see why. The talented Uruguayan footballer has had 2 infamous moments of biting other players, and he didn't make these impulsive decisions seen throughout his career. The rejection of Ronaldo Nazario. Despite not being well known, the Sao Cristobal Football Club discovered a promising youngster named Ronaldo before Cruzeiro gave him his professional debut. Even so, Flamengo decided to turn down the opportunity to sign this future soccer star. Over time, Ronaldo ended up triumphing at PSV and Barcelona, reaching the top of international football. This makes us wonder, what were Flamengo's scouts thinking when they turned Ronaldo down? The celebration of Paulo Di Canio. In 2005, the then Italian striker for English team West Ham, Paulo Di Canio, inadvertently gave a Nazi salute to the crowd. This gesture, which was immediately condemned, caused a great deal of controversy. This was one of the many stories that have created a football legacy over the years. The Maracanazo of Barbosa. It is one of the most memorable mistakes in football history. Moacir Barbosa's miss in the 1950 World Cup final. Barbosa, who had been Brazil's great hero in the games leading up to the final, became the villain of his country when he missed the goal that gave victory to Uruguay. Since then, the name of Moacir Barbosa has become synonymous with error and has served as a lesson for future generations of soccer players to never give up until the referee whistles the end of the game. Zidane's header. In 2006, the world of football experienced one of the most unforgettable moments. In the World Cup match between France and Italy, soccer star Zinedine Zidane was sent off. With his last game in the French team, Zidane was the protagonist of one of the most memorable expulsions in history. The referee, Horacio Elizondo, had no mercy in sending off the player for a serious assault on his defender, Marco Materazzi. This action changed the course of the match for France and won the hearts of the fans. I don't know if it will be correct to say that Zidane always had a privileged head for football. Eric Cantona's flying kick. The sport of soccer has witnessed great moments over the years, but it has also seen some unpleasant situations, such as the attack on the public by the French player Eric Cantona in 1995. The incident, which occurred in the Premier League match between Crystal Palace and Manchester United, led to the player's expulsion and a 9-month suspension. This assault was one of the most infamous moments in football history, and Cantona has never apologized for his actions. The club that did not want to sign Maradona. In a historic moment for football, Sheffield United made a decision that places them in a position of honor on our list. They refused to sign Diego Maradona. How could this happen? In 1978, the team was in the English 2nd Division and Maradona was a promising youngster. Player and team had a closed agreement, and in exchange for £200,000, Maradona would sign for Sheffield. But the political situation in Argentina did not favor the transfer, and after taking some steps, the club confirmed that the price to pay for the future Argentine star would be significantly higher. At this point, it was decided to abandon the transfer. What would have happened if the club had accepted the agreement? Would football history have changed? Surely the Sheffield United? Yes. The ugly Ronaldinho Gaucho. Ronaldinho Gaucho, a soccer legend and an incomparable figure within the sport, his talent and skills on the pitch have made him one of the best players of all time. But why didn't Real Madrid want it? Florentino Perez did not think Ronaldinho was handsome enough to be a Real Madrid player, so he decided to sign David Beckham. From 2003 to 2006, Florentino Perez watched Barcelona with starting Ronaldinho win 2 La Liga titles and the 2005-2006 Champions League title. Roberto Rojas and his scalpel. One of the most controversial moments in the history of soccer happened in 1989. In the qualifying rounds for the World Cup in Italy in 1990, when the then player of the Chilean national team, Roberto Rojas the Condor, pretended to be attacked by a flare thrown from the tribune. In the match between Chile and Brazil, the public hallucinated with the ploy of Rojas, who carried with him a medical scalpel hidden in his goalkeeper gloves to make the cuts that stimulated the aggression. In fact, in the video, it can be seen how Rojas placed a glove on his eyebrow to make the cut. While Chile abandoned the game and tried to qualify through the dispatches, which did not happen. The incident was analyzed and the stratagem discovered, which meant a life ban for Rojas, who did not play professional soccer again. The Calciopoli. In 2006, the world of football was rocked by the Calciopoli scandal. This exposed corruption in the Italian league, and the defendants were implicated in rigged auctions, bribery, and manipulation of results. Over the years, sanctions have been imposed on various clubs, including Juventus, AC Milan, and Fiorentina. The teams were fined, relegated, and some managers were accused of bribery. Calciopoli changed the way Italian football is seen in the world and also seriously affected the status of their teams in Europe. Fortunately, all of that seems to be behind us, and currently, Italy has 3 teams classified in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. The shirtless celebrations. We cannot deny the importance of large sports celebrations. But what happened when FIFA banned players from celebrating shirtless? This was a decision that many considered a mistake, as this ban ruined the spontaneous and exciting nature of the celebration. This was a decision that FIFA made in 2002 and was highly criticized by fans and players. In fact, the norm not only prohibits removing the shirt, but also lifting it to cover the head with it. Gentlemen of FIFA, let the players celebrate the goals naturally and vehemently. The Champions League of Loris Karius. It is a day that German goalkeeper Loris Karius will never forget. It was on May 26, 2018, when Liverpool faced Real Madrid in the Champions League final. In a historic game for both teams, Karius made 2 fatal mistakes. First, he had a slip in which Karim Benzema scored the first goal of the night. And then, in the 81st minute, he misfired the ball, allowing Gareth Bale to score a spectacular goal. These 2 errors were the final result for Karius and Liverpool, who lost 3-1 in the final. A performance that will never be forgotten. The failure of a goalkeeper that cost a Euro Cup. And today we also review one of the saddest moments in the history of Spanish football. In 1984, Spain reached the final of the European Championship against France, being one of the revelations of the tournament. The game was closely contested. However, in the 55th minute, the Frenchman Michel Platini caressed a direct free kick on the edge of the area. Luis Arconada, the Spanish goalkeeper, was one of the figures of that team, so no one thought that he could miss that ball. But it failed. The ball ended up in the net and Spain was defeated. This failure took almost 25 years to correct, until Euro 2008, where Spain this time was able to win the tournament. A center forward who misses 3 penalties. In the 1999 Copa America, the Argentine team faced the Colombian team in a match that will go down in history. Forward Martin Palermo had the opportunity to be the hero of the match by trying to score 3 penalties. However, fate was against him and all 3 penalties were wasted. This is one of the moments most remembered by soccer fans. Incredible to see a center forward as lethal as Martin Palermo was, missing 3 penalties. The poisoned Brazilian team? In the year 1990, the world of soccer was about to witness one of the most exciting matches in history. Argentina and Brazil met in the round of 16 of the World Cup in Italy. Would Argentina poison Brazil? The answer, based on the comments made at the time by Maradona, is yes. In the images analyzed later, it can be seen how at one point in the match, the assistant enters the field to attend to the Argentine players and carries several bottles of water with him. Among all of them, there are some intended exclusively for rivals. Chance? The Brazilian player Branco was one of those who drank from them, and always defended that from that moment on, he played the rest of the game with his faculties seriously diminished. When a team rejected a certain Leo Messi. What would have happened if River Plate had accepted the young talent of Leo Messi? Well, a few years ago, At the age of only 13, this little Argentine player was introduced to the eyes of the River Plate leaders. But in the end, the agreement did not come to pass. This was because River Plate did not want to pay the $900 for a growth treatment that Messi needed. After this decision, the fate of Leo Messi led him to Barcelona. Who knows what would have happened if River Plate had accepted this young talent? It is impossible to know. But what we can assure is that since then, Leo Messi has created an impressive legend in the world of football. The least profitable signing in history. In 2017, PSG surprised the world of football by making the most expensive signing in history, that of Brazilian star Neymar Jr. A record amount of 222 million euros was what the Paris team paid Barcelona for the star. The player, who was living the highest moment of his career, was received in the French capital like a true celebrity. His arrival represented a milestone in world of football, making a before and after in the transfer market. At the moment, the consideration of the Brazilian star is not the same in the eyes of the French fans. The character of the Brazilian star, considered little committed to the PSG project, and his tendency to injuries have made him considered one of the most ruinous signings in history. And that's all what we have for you today. We hope you've enjoyed the video, and above all, that you tell us in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe because our next video is going to be awesome and you don't want to miss it. Until next time, I'll see you around.